We just said, hey, if you could build the perfect boat, what would it look like? And we're sitting in it. So every Rig My Ride project is a start from scratch boat build for two reasons. Number one, everything that we do, every design piece is intentional. We don't want a good tournament rig, we want the perfect tournament rig. The second reason we do it is we want to show you guys the juice. Every tiny little detail, every transducer we order, every mount, every kind of glue we use. I'm pretty sure that by the end of this video, you'll have a drill out and you'll be making changes. You'll probably be thinking about your next improvement to your boat or your next boat. The first and probably most controversial decision the team made was the boat model. So for this Rig My Ride, we have a 721 ZXL at 2025. Don't walk away. Parts. No, you don't get parts. You're part of this too. This is part of your disaster.
Perfect.
If you're what you've been seeing up until now is the building of Cop Car, my 2025 721 ZXL. Chris and I are big believers in the ZXL, and if you go ahead and pan around, you'll see just it's an absolute disaster right now. But we're gonna show you more as we go through this process, but we're gonna have two 12s on the bow or on the console, and the bow is gonna be, I don't know how we want
Apex 16.
Apex 16. Haven't really figured out how we're gonna do it, but if you see this disaster, but you let these guys work on it for a little bit, it'll look amazing at some point, at some time. One of my buddies asked me why I ordered a 721 over a 921, and I told him because you told me.
I just like it because price point. For a lot of guys, that think they can't afford a 21-foot boat, I think the price point on a 721 is a little bit better.
But it is a 21-foot boat,
and it's still a 21. Right, 21.
Like the cool thing about this boat is there's nothing it can't do. As far as like if you're choosing a boat, it's at the top of every list.
Correct.
What's the biggest con of a 721?
It used to be the width at the bow, right? I mean, that was the number one thing that people.
Just skinny
it
when
was skinny up at the front, but now that they widened it up and they raised the deck up just a little bit, right? It's not an issue anymore. I think 721's a little more nimble, right? Drives a little bit better, a little bit faster, right? But it's not about speed, right? It's still about drivability, and it's less money, way less money, right? I mean, if you look at Greg Hackney. When they went to no co-angler, right? He went straight to a 721. This boat's been around forever. 721 hull design's been around for a long time.
2008.
Right? Yeah.
The hull's different, but the decks.
The deck's wide.
The hull's the same. The deck's
wider. Yeah.
I talked to Hartung about it. They are using the same mold design that they started in 2008 for the hull. They've never changed it.
And that was one of my original boats, right? In 2012. One of my original demos was 721. Still probably was like one of my favorite boats to date.
So can you still get the second console with this boat?
You can. That's an option.
Oh, okay.
I'd say, yeah. And I'd say most boats nowadays, single console is kind of the deal, right?
Unless you're riding with my wife. You know what my wife does when the single console and it's windy?
Drives.
She drives.
Yep.
She goes, oh, you didn't order a console? No. She's like, move over. She makes me move over. And then I got to lean over and push the trim back down because she's like... See those? I had them put in an extra bilge pump, and when I sent the text back to Phoenix, I said put another bilge pump in it, and I said big effort. And Greg Wood said, I know what you need. So is that the biggest bilge pump they make?
Yep, 1200.
1200, yeah. You fish on the Columbia River, you need a 1200 and a 25,000 because you're pumping it out or it's rolling out the back door.
Correct.
Here's a better question. Out of all of these that we've installed, and now that you're the service guy, how many warranty claims have you had on a DF250?
Zero so far. But we're what, 2 years into it?
2 years into it?
Yeah.
But you're also taking on existing motor service?
Yeah, existing motor service, outside service. We've had a few, like on some smaller stuff.
But not on the deal.
It's all like 9.9s and 15s, all small stuff. But
So what you're saying is, if you want to run a service shop and keep your guys busy with warranty work, don't
No.
sell Suzuki.
well, if you want to do work, don't sell Suzuki,
Yeah.
because then you won't have anything to work on.
We were just talking to Dylan, and we think that there's over 100 pounds of just cabling in this boat.
Probably. It's not as much cabling as a house, but it'll be there.
It's getting there.
You like my cut-ins from last night?
You just drill into stuff and don't care.
Not my boat. So this is a tournament series. It's made by Dometic. So your standard one is like a 6335, which is a standard size hydraulic cylinder. This one, they called it a tournament series. They originally weren't going to call it that, but they made a mistake and did. But they wanted to call it commercial. So it's a lot beefier. It's all billet machined. You'll never have to put seals in it. So it's just a lot beefier system. Low failure points. It's just the ones I've always ran on my boats. Tucked Jake into it this year, going to one. See how he does with it. If you look at the Ram's a lot bigger versus your standard one. Just everything's built a little bit better.
So you can't even replace the seals on it if you
Can't.
because they don't go out.
They don't go out. Yeah, they're actually, there's a stainless seal on the inside, so it'll never fail.
No rubber.
Nope. And we've had, all the boats on guys, like a lot of my demos that I've had over the years, a lot of guys have gone to those, and I've never seen those, never once have I seen any of those come back. So, and some of my boats are 12 years old that are out there.
With never failing.
With never had a failure. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you spending my money.
Yeah. Well, it's easier to spend someone else's than your own.
100%.
So.
I think today we're going to spend Dylan's money.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Dylan can buy lunch.
What do you want on the boat?
So here's a trick I learned from Brandon Polinick, and since I have two graphs up front, I have two Explorers at the steering wheel console. I can run I'm running an in-hole 2D sonar for when I'm on plane. I'm also running the 3D side imaging, mega side imaging puck outside of the boat. Well, when you do that, Brandon showed me this trick, you buy the in-hole that has the external temperature sensor. So my in-hole is glued in the bottom, out of it comes a temperature sensor. What you can do with this, I'm kind of having a hard time right now, is you can drill this into your live well. And what that gives you is the opportunity to set a live well temperature on your graphs. It's awesome. I've fished with Brandon before, and we punch a hole in there, he punched a hole in there, and he can pour a bag of ice in and you can watch. It's worth about 6 degrees in his live wells. I'm only gonna put a temperature sensor, these are divided live wells, I'm only gonna put the temperature sensor on the driver's side. Generally, if if I put the same amount of ice in one side, the other side, it's gonna be the same with the same amount of ice is my guess, but I only have one temperature sensor, but I'm kind of struggling because I don't want to drill this hole. What Brandon's advice was, if you do this, because it is an awesome trick, go about 1 inch under your overflow. So if for some reason when you stick the sensor in there and it pops out for any reason, if the glue breaks, I'm going to silicone it in there, the water will just come out to the overflow level. Don't put it at the bottom of the live well, put it just a little bit below the overflow, and that'll give you your water temp in your live well, which is really important in hot summer. You can always drill the hole twice, he says.
Well, that way
I agree with you.
it's sort of tighter.
I don't want to drill the hole once.
It's one off. I would try that and see how it is. That'll probably be about right.
I think the only thing dumber would be to punch a hole in the bottom of the boat. That might have been something I don't ever want to do again. That's not funny. It's not funny to do that to an old man. How long have you had that?
How long have we had
What's
that?
my discount going to be if I add this? Because we had no intention of putting a BBT mount for the dual.
I always put BBT mounts.
Why?
Just gives it more bracing on the back, better bracing on the bottom. I mean, Phoenix still puts aluminum plates underneath, and we've done them that way, but I think if you want to take the vibration out and for longevity and a cleaner look and hide your wires, then you run a BBT mount.
Okay, back to how long has it been sitting there and what's my discount?
That's been there a long time.
Whoa,
You no longer
half price,
Arizona.
50% off.
Sure.
Well, the good news is when I did mine last time and I just eyeballed it, one graph was crooked. So like they were supposed to be crooked. This will prevent that, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't look good now because we haven't put all the wires away, but this is my complete power bank for trolling motor, 75 amp hour. I had it on my last boat. The most I ever knocked it down to, I think I had 40% left in a full day of fishing. And I had a bigger boat. This boat's a little bit lighter. It's probably not significantly lighter, right, Chris?
What?
Like I probably won't notice a big difference in the way it trolls around over a 921 Pro.
No. I mean, boat's 100 pounds lighter, right?
It's
You said you're probably, I bet you you're 200 pounds lighter because you didn't do as much polyflake.
oh yeah, white because I've got a white no flake on the side and the bottom.
No flake. If you do a polyflake complete boat minus bottom, right? Bottom just say gel coat black. You're 150 pounds heavier.
That's probably the best battery for trolling motors, and I can honestly say I believe that's the best trolling motor battery on the market. This is all made in Tennessee, the BMS and everything. And if you don't know what a BMS is, battery management system, it's the control board that controls your battery. It is the failure point. It's probably 90% of the problems that most people have with their batteries is that control board. And you realize like if you don't program it correctly, it's really easy for one of these to go kaput. I was the first guy on the West Coast to have a lithium trolling motor battery from Lithium Pros. I've never had one fail. So I run a 215 amp hour graph battery because right now in our sport we're on a race to the top. Like technology is accelerating faster than technology is accelerating at an exponential rate in every facet of our world. And fishing's not excluded from it. So you're gonna be running big graphs. I have bad eyes, so I run 16s and multiple 12s. That battery, the only thing it does is Mega 2 live, Mega 360, and three Humminbirds, 2 12s and a 16. And it's more than enough. It's nice to have it too because you know you could jump a cranker if you had to.
You done cutting holes?
No, I'm not done.
Oh boy.
That's a good one.
Look at that. Nice and square and big.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
Do the same thing on
That
What
is.
happens when you let the computer guys start working with power tools? We make holes.
You said he's an electrical engineer, not.
Computer engineer. 2 years of electrical engineering and then 2 years of computer science.
So you're a YouTube technician?
Oh, he's a YouTube technician.
That's right.
It's mechanic, not technician.
YouTube
There is a
mechanic.
difference between a mechanic and a technician. Technician knows how to do it. Mechanic just has tools.
I don't even think
I don't think he's jigsaw certified though.
It's a pretty straight
good.
edges. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's pretty solid.
I just had to wear gloves because I got computer hands, you know? I get slivers.
I get slivers.
I mean, look at the size of this thing.
It's a video game console.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You play some Mario Kart while you're
I'm gonna have to mount it up high so I can see. My eyes are so bad. It'll be like right here. You know, you look it through your bifocals like, oh, there's a fish. You just had to pair the trolling motor to the. So do you not run?
I have them, but
You don't run front switches because you can use that,
I just use this. But it's not that bad to hit it.
but it has to be hit twice.
To go down. And then I can stop it. One tap will stop it, one tap up.
Dude, that's awesome.
If we go back out of our motor,
and we go into our Raptor settings, we can now go into our settings and we can go into our speed settings. So you've got low, medium, high. So with your remote, you can change the speed, right?
They're not paired.
Oh, okay. Well, when they're paired, you've got 3 speed settings, low, medium, high. Well, you can adjust in the app what low is, what medium is, and what like what your high is. So I usually put my low all the way down. Now watch how slow they'll go. How quiet they are.
Quiet. That's quiet.
So your up and your down will be slower. So that's our low. But if we were to go and have our low all the way on 4, it's
Quite a bit
just
faster.
a little bit faster. So
And it hits harder when it lands.
yeah, I usually run
Run it on 1.
I just run it on 1 because if I'm gonna be in low, it's because I want to be really quiet.
So if you set that on the phone like that, is that set for only this controller?
No, because I'm using this. So now low is just always on 1.
So if I were to use this, would it default
It's
to
still
the 1?
yes, because it's telling the computer in the pumps
In the pumps.
that low is 1. You're on soft bottom right now. You can change. Well, you're supposed to be able to change.
Yours changing when you're hitting it.
Oh, it was changing.
Yeah. Hit the button and
Oh,
you'll see.
they're rough water, soft bottom,
Right.
auto bottom.
What do you use?
Usually I just run it in auto.
Where do you like to mount these?
I usually only mount 1, but somewhere convenient on your dash.
So you just mount it and that. Do you ever mount one in like your locker? So if you were like getting blown into shore while you were retying, you have one in the
I would just put it right here.
so that you can hit it.
Yeah,
without
so if
having-
you're sitting here working on stuff, like you catch a fish and you're trying to weigh it right here and you're blowing in, you can just hit it right here.
Yeah. So just stick it like on the side there.
Yeah, I'll just stick one like right here or something.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to do is to take this remote and stick it in my tackle box. Like I stick it to the side with the door open because almost every time I go to retie and it's
Spot lock.
I just hit spot lock. It's heavenly. I throw it on there because you're always like, oh, all I need is a bait, and then you're like, oh, my knot's shot to hell. Oh, I'll retie, and the next thing you know, you're like 5 miles away from where you want to be.
You should network your troll motor
Why?
so that you can scan over on your map and hit go to spot lock and your troll motor will go.
How often,
And
do,
it
you, how often do you use that?
Quite often when I'm in open, if I know I'm not going to hit anything. If I know there's no obstructions between me and that.
So,
Because then I'm like, it gives me time to retie. I'm like, oh, I want to go across this bay, and I just want to get over there, but I don't want to get on top of that point. I'll just scroll over with the cursor on my apex. You just hit the go to button, go to spot lock, and then it just drives straight there, and it'll spot lock right there, and then you sit down and retie as it's driving over. It's in your one boat network.
okay.
And then we're gonna go phone setup. We're gonna go connect phone. Confirm. Should explore 12. Okay, we are now connected. Our waypoints. Hit our little button. Draw to select. Circle. Then this is your export, save files. You can edit the waypoints that are selected. You can change the color or you can delete. If we export, you can either export to an SD card or we can transfer to phone.
Oh,
Now data transferred.
imported 2 waypoints.
So now if you go back to chart view, that is not where we are.
Don't show any of those sites.
Nobody look at this. Let me see this real quick. Nobody see Jake's waypoints.
Those are good waypoints too. Those are river
Okay,
waypoints.
so here's the 2 waypoints that, I don't know why it says transfer failed. They're there. Probably because I hit the button too many times. So there's our 2 waypoints that we hit. They're now on your phone. So the cool thing is, like, say, okay, I'm gonna exit
Give me
out.
a really good spot. Give me a really good
I'm gonna
waypoint.
I'm gonna give you one. This one right here on potholes. So you can do the same here. We can go down, draw to select. We can select. Say there was like 10 waypoints there. We can just export. Then we can export out, and then, oops, transfer. Sorry, not export, transfer. So you could like export it and you could text it to a buddy, or you could email it to a buddy.
Yeah, that's a good waypoint. Send that to your friends.
Oh, it's flip-flopped.
Yeah, I have headings.
Yeah, it's not north up. So there's our waypoint. So you can go back and forth.
That's super dope. So, quick question. Do you connect all of your units or just one? And since they're networked,
You only have to do one. They're networked, so
you don't have to move stuff around. Okay.
yeah, you don't have to move it around. So like this one, it's got the 2 there. It's got the one over there at potholes.
So is that how you manage your waypoints now? Is just on your phone?
I still do it with SD cards, but
only in saving by group. You're not using another app.
no.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's the quickest, easiest way to do it.
The best thing is when you're using your phone at night, which everybody does, looking for spots, you just hit a bunch of spots and then dump them in the morning really fast with your phone, right?
Well, and then you can like draw to select. If you have them all on a lake, you can draw to select, and then you can just email them to yourself so you never lose them. Create a folder in your email that says waypoints, and then you just make a zip file, or do you just email it to yourself and put it over in that folder? It says potholes at Coeur d'Alene or Clear Lake or whatever.
Do you still delete all your tracks and waypoints in between tournaments?
Yes. I only run the tracks I need. So like Lake Fork, I have tracks that are saved for lanes that I'll import, but I only run waypoints for the lake that I'm fishing. That way everything runs as fast as possible.
My favorite part of you building this boat so far.
Is what?
Testing it. Testing is my favorite part of Rig My Ride 25.
So you're the Rig My Ride tester?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sure you have the qualifications necessary.
Sure, yeah. You guys did a great job.
Temperature sensor in the live well. This graph is connected to the 2D sonar that has the extension that we put in the live well, and you'll see that the live well temp is 80 degrees. The water temp is 72.7. Okay, so this is the setup. The reason I chose the 16 Apex. You have a really high resolution screen, but if you can tell, I can move the screen sizes around. You could make this your map, but this screen is more than big enough to give you all the information you need. So this is why we went with a single Apex 16 on the front, Mega 360, and Mega Live 2, which Mega Live 2, I've just started messing with it, but I guess the cat's out of the bag. It's been really good for target separation. But here's a school of perch right on the edge of the weed line that you can actually see. I mean, that's just dope. So you guys just watched us build this boat on camera. And it kind of dawned on me that, you know, it takes so much time to actually edit all these videos that this boat's actually been on the water for like 4 major tournaments. And so while we're putting that video together, I had to have this thing ready and on the water. So it's been done for about a month now, and I've been Columbia River twice with it. I've been to Lake Almanor, Northern California, and we've done a Banks Lake tournament. I actually got to run this thing in some really, really rowdy water, and it's exceptional. Like, I really don't think I gave up anything with my 921 Pro. Now, I know the new 921 Elite X is a little bit bigger, and they've made some changes to that one. But as far as, like, if you need a boat that can do everything, man, I just can't find a downside to the 721. We put the Suzuki on it, and it has 21 hours, so it's had its first oil change in it, and it's been obviously it's been a Suzuki. However they built this front deck, it seems to me that I have more working space. That has been a major surprise. I have so much room up here. I fish with a lot of rods. I'll have 10 on each side. I can move around, and I think it's because they did this with the gunnels. They thinned down the gunnels. There's a ton of room. I'm really surprised. So like I said, I think Phoenix might have a little bit of a problem here because this is such a capable boat. It's fast. It's really good in rough water. And now it has a ton of it's like just a great fishing platform. I mean, if it came down to you could save $10,000 or $15,000 to get into entry fees so that you could do the opens or whatever, and you had to choose between this and another boat that might be a little bit more, you are not losing anything with this model. This is a great boat. So make sure you subscribe to this video, limit out the Rig My Ride. We're going to have another video that comes out, and we're going to talk about the way we integrated all the electronics, because it's next level. It's pretty cool.